Good morning. It's Miss Boyce, and I guess it may not be morning for you. And if it is morning, it may not be light outside like it is for me. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good early morning, whatever it is for you. Okay. We are starting the model called MITS, Mechanical Instruction That Sticks. And so if you see mechanical instruction that sticks, or if you see MITS, M-I-T-S, that's what I'm talking about, okay? So the elements of a complete sentence. Now, if you were with me last week, or if you paid attention to what we talked about last week, you already know the elements of a complete sentence. A complete sentence requires three things. It has to have a subject, it has to have a verb, and it has to have a complete thought. And I know all of you are going, oh yeah, we talked about that last week, because we did. We talked about that last week. Every complete sentence has to have a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Okay? An example, Joe will attend the concert. Joe is my subject. Will is a helping verb. Attend is your main verb, your action verb, the concert. Okay, so will attend is actually a verb phrase. We'll talk about those later. Another example would be chaos reigned. It is not a long sentence. It's only two words. But guess what? One of those words is a subject and one of those words is a verb. And it has a complete thought. Chaos reigned. Okay? Another example, sorry, a subject is not always one word. Sometimes an entire phrase acts as the complete subject. So here, chatting with her friends is my mother's favorite pastime. Chatting with her friends is the subject because that's what is. So make sure that you understand that the subject is what the sentence is talking about and the verb is what that thing is doing or being, okay? All right, so another quick review for subjects and verbs. The subject of a sentence is who or what the sentence is about. It performs an action or is identified or described by a linking verb. Joe slept. Joe is my subject. What did he do? He slept. Okay, so that's a complete thought. Kayaking on the big river is exciting. Is your linking verb. What is exciting? Kayaking. So kayaking is your subject. A verb is a word used to show an action or indicate a state of being. Joe and Jamie purchased a new car. So your verb is purchased. And who purchased? Joe and Jamie. Okay, so those are your subjects. The car is red. My subject is car. What is the car? Is the verb. Okay, red would be a predicate adjective that is describing the car. All right, sentence fragments. If a group of words lacks a subject, a verb, or a complete thought, it cannot be a complete sentence. If it doesn't have all three of those things, it can't be a complete sentence. Instead, it's called a sentence fragment. A sentence fragment is a group of words that is not a complete sentence. Sometimes writers will intentionally use fragments in a piece of literature. However, in most formal compositions, we want to avoid unintended sentence fragments. Sometimes they can be used to like grab your attention or make a statement, but usually you don't want to use those, okay? It makes you sound like you don't know what you're doing. So an example, the quarterback near the 10-yard line, well, what's he doing? We know where he is, but what is he doing? We don't know. It's a fragment. Another example, shifted into lower gear. What shifted into lower gear? Who shifted into lower gear? We don't know what the subject is. We don't know who the sentence is about. So no, we cannot have a complete idea. It's not a complete sentence. It is a fragment. Another example, because I really enjoy football. What? I mean, do you play it? Do you watch it? Like, what do you do because you really enjoy football? We don't know. It's not a complete thought. Okay? All right, I want to go back over here to the 1 through 3 under subjects and verbs, labeling the subjects and verbs. What is my subject in number 1? Andrea. Andrea, and what did she do? She spoke. So my verb in number 1 is spoke, and my subject is Andrea. Andrea spoke to the doctor. That's a complete thought. It makes sense by itself. It's a complete sentence. The chances of winning are remote. What is my subject? The chances of winning is my subject because that's what are. All right. Are is your verb. It's a linking verb. But it is your verb. The chances of winning are remote is a complete thought. You have a subject, you have a verb, and a complete thought. It's a sentence. Number 3, the teacher and student met with the principal. In this one, I have 2 subjects. What are they? Teacher and student. And then what did they do? They met. So you have 2 subjects, you have a verb, and you have a complete thought because we know who they met with. Very good. In number 1, under sentences or fragments, number 1, I cried. Is that a sentence or a fragment? It's a sentence. We have a subject. We have a verb. I is my subject. Cried is my verb. It's a complete thought, so it's a sentence. Number 2, although I enjoy baseball, that's a fragment because we don't know. Although I enjoy baseball, I don't like to watch the game. I don't go to many games. What? We don't have a complete thought there. Okay, we have a subject, I. We have a verb, enjoy, but we don't have a complete thought, so it is a fragment. Number 3, Steve is amazing. That is a sentence. We have a subject, which is what? Steve. We have a verb, is, and amazing is finishing that sentence out. Steve is amazing. That's a complete thought. It's a sentence. Hoping that Janet's surgery will go well. Who's hoping that Janet's surgery will go well? Do we know? No. So that is a fragment. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed one. Oh my goodness. Okay, the last one. When I get a chance to speak with your father, I will tell him about your behavior. That is a complete sentence. You have 2 clauses there. You have a dependent. Remember we talked last week, baby, comma, mama. You have a dependent because you have when, which is a subordinating conjunction. When I get a chance to speak to your father, has a subject and has a verb. It's not a complete thought, but it's followed by one, so it's a complete sentence. All right. Now, we're also going to talk about common word errors this week. There are 3 different versions of the word to. Okay, to means expressing emotion. It's also used with a verb to make an infinitive, and we talked about those briefly last week: to run, to walk, to skip, to jump, to hop, to sing, to dance. Okay. TOO is in greater degree or also. So I want to go to, or I like pizza too, or that's too much money. Okay. And then the third one is TWO, the number 2. I have 2 pins on my desk. Okay. I have 2 earrings in my ears. All right. So examples: I went to the store to see Jermaine. I was too tired to help, or John was too tired to help us paint the fence. I'd like to go to the concert too. And 2 people are waiting for you in the kitchen. Those TWO girls would like TO, visit the museum, TOO. Okay, good. There are also 3 versions of their. THEIR, which is the possessive form of they. That is their dog, or those are their parents. Okay. Their THEY'' means they are. They're going to. They're happy. Okay, they are. And there, THERE is a location or a place. So some examples. Joe and Lisa don't know that I already spoke with their mother. They're going to be very surprised. And her car is parked over there. I do not know what their, THEY'' going to do when they discover that their THEIR luggage is no longer there, THERE. The next one's your, YOUR, is the possessive form of you, and your, YOU''RE, is you are. So you're going to have problems if your attitude doesn't change. Okay, do you think your, YOUR, mom will care if your, YOURE, you are out past 11 o'clock? All right, good. And then there are two forms of its. ITS is a possessive form of it. So its tail was wagging, okay? IT''S is it is or it has. So the car lost its wheel. This belongs to the car. The team lost its captain. It is time to leave. It has been fun, but I have to leave, okay? This establishment has been found guilty of multiple health code violations. Don't you think it is, IT''S, time to revoke its ITS license? And our last common word errors for this week, here, HEAR is to listen with the ears, and HERE is the place where you are. So I can't hear anything you have to say when I'm standing here, or here is the boy to whom you must speak. Okay, I wanted to hear, HEAR, what the governor had to say, so I moved over here, HERE, where I'm closer to the speakers. Okay, the last set, now this one is one that you may not be as comfortable with or know as much. Fewer is used with things that can be counted individually. So you can use that with marbles, with jelly beans, with students, with things, okay? Less, you use that with concepts or things that can't be counted. So fewer people are at the concert this year than last. Well, you say fewer because you can count the people, right? But less intelligence is needed to perform this task. You can't really count intelligence, so you would say less instead of fewer. We have had less rain this year than last. Rain, you can measure rain, but you can't count it individually. You can't count it drop by drop, right? So it would be less instead of fewer. Roger put less thought into his lesson than he usually does. You wouldn't say fewer because you can't count thought, all right? There are fewer animals in this zoo than I expected. You can count animals, so you would use fewer instead of less. Fewer students signed up for football. You can count the students, so that would be fewer, not less.